Hi, my name is Megan, and I'm going to talk about making vaccinations mandatory in the US. Today, especially around the holidays, you will hear about the hot topic of pilgrims bringing devastating diseases to the Native Americans. Smallpox and the measles were quickly spread with high mortality rates. Of course, those diseases did not stop there. One of them, the measles, is making an unlikely comeback due to lack of vaccination in children. Smallpox, however, has been completely eradicated due to the technology of vaccinations. Now, as a nurse, people may think I am biased, but just by looking at those simple facts, you would think the answer would be easy. People should be getting vaccinated. Believe it or not, there is a growing number of individuals in the United States who are opting out of vaccinating their children. Children do not understand the concept of infection control. How could they? This is a population who doesn't have the right boundaries of personal space to keep safe from possible diseases that each other are carrying. This is a matter of both infection control in the public that your child could be spreading and the health of your loved ones who have no defense against deadly diseases. If an unvaccinated person doesn't get infected by one disease as a child, it is shown that the adult will get hit much harder when they're infected. Vaccinations should be a mandatory protection in the United States to keep our population strong and possibly even eradicate other diseases. First, I will talk about the effects of not vaccinating in America. Then I will talk about not having vaccinations in other countries. And finally, I will look at the benefits of mandatory vaccination. First, let's get into the effects of not vaccinating in America. There are actually quite a few reasons why parents choose not to vaccinate their children, so I'm going to talk about what those are and what consequences we've recently seen from it. Religion can be a contributing factor to why some parents decide not to vaccinate their children, and there are only 4 states that do not take that as a form of exemption. There is also a personal belief. Some parents feel the vaccines do more harm to their children than good. The main one I'm going to discuss is the theory of the MMR shot. MMR stands for measles, mumps, and rubella. So by receiving this vaccine, you're gaining protection. There was a debunked study a few years back that said getting the shot increases the chances of a child developing autism, and many parents stopped vaccinating for this reason and also mistrusted the rest of the vaccine. It has now been shown that this is a false finding and autism has not been linked to any vaccine. After examining the lack of vaccinations in America, we can take a look at the same in other countries. Not all countries have the luxury to choose not to vaccinate their children. Some simply don't have the resources and would love to get them if they could. According to the World Health Organization, 2.5 million deaths a year in children less than 5 years old could have been prevented with vaccinations. This is occurring across Asian and African countries that aren't vaccinating due to the lack of resources, not by choice. They lack both education and materials that we, as Americans, proudly manifest. What is our excuse? Now that we understand the effects of not vaccinating both domestically and internationally, we can discuss why making vaccines mandatory in the US would be beneficial. If you weren't sold after hearing the consequences of not vaccinating in and out of our country, let me bring up 2 more points for you. According to the CDC, there are 1,282 cases of measles outbreak in 31 states due to under-vaccination in the U.S. Measles is a highly infectious virus that involves high temp, painful rashes that encompass your whole body aches, and more symptoms. The fact is, most of these cases could have been prevented through vaccination. The way that vaccines work is the body is exposed to the disease, and then the immune system comes in to fight it off while keeping memory of the disease, thereby creating antibodies. Armed with these little fighters, we as a population can feel safe going into crowded areas with complete strangers, knowing that we have a little army ready to fight for us. The truth is, though, humans are humans and we are built off self-will. We're going to do what we want to do. But why would you not want to take a simple precaution that can save lives? So first, I talked about the effects of not vaccinating in America. Then I went over not having vaccinations in other countries. And finally, I looked at the benefits of making vaccination mandatory. This is a matter of both infection control and the population that your child could be spreading, and the health of your loved ones who have no defense against deadly diseases. If an unvaccinated person doesn't get infected by one of the diseases as a child, it is shown that the adult will get hit much harder if they get infected. Vaccination should be a mandatory protection in the United States to keep our population strong. And hey, maybe we really can assist in another eradication of a terrorizing disease. At the end of the day, I want you to remember this. The choice of vaccination isn't just about you or your family. It's about the entire community and world that the unvaccinated individual comes into contact with. Would you think twice in the future about a widely approved vaccine for COVID to save those around you? I don't think you would.